It's been a tough year, but tonight we celebrate hope. We look to people all around the world who take action against the world's daunting problems. They work every single day to safeguard the planet for future generations, protect the environment that sustains us, and ensure that every person can enjoy freedom, safety, and life with dignity.
Welcome to the highlights of the 2021 Olympus Awards. To give you an idea what the ICV Olympus Awards are all about, we have compiled a short summary of last year's contestants and their world-changing projects. The nominated individuals of the international projects of last year were not invited to become a student of the Olympus. These positions on board the Olympus are awarded to young futurists like yourself.
These international heroes have found their foothold in this world. They have achieved their goals and continue their work with our fullest support. But we want to help young people like yourselves take that first step.
My name is Gina Duravi, and I am here not only as a host to guide you through this evening, but as a fellow human in urgent need of hope and change. Tonight, we'll meet some of the bravest people on the planet whose hard work reminds us that it still is possible to change the course of our existence.
Each year, the ICV Olympus Awards visits new cities with new potential candidates all around the world.
Through an open process, allowing anyone to nominate inspiring individuals or organizations. After thorough research, a jury made up of international experts and previous laureates chooses the year's most outstanding changemakers to receive the award.
The Olympus Award is often compared to the Nobel Prize, but there are many differences. The Olympus provides change makers with long-term support. Whether they are an award nominee, a student, or a graduate of the Olympus, we highlight their solutions, provide protection when their life and liberty are in danger, and as part of our students' graduation project, present their ideas in front of the United Nations Council.
And now it's time to introduce the first laureate of the evening. Growing up in the northern part of Cameroon, Marthe Wandu wasn't a typical girl. Her parents wanted her and her siblings to have a proper education, which is still not common for girls in the region. So, with a law degree in hand, Marthe went and became a gender and peace activist. Since then, she's worked hard to prevent sexual violence against girls and the practice of early marriage. And so far, 50,000 girls has benefited from Marthe's work.
In Cameroon, child and early marriage is still prevalent. 30% of women are married before the age of 18, including almost 11% before the age of 15. More than half of women experience physical or sexual violence from an intimate partner during their lifetimes. Marthe Wandu and her organization Aldeepa work with girls through self-help groups and girls' clubs.
And now it's time to have a little chat. I have Ole von Yxkull, Executive Director, with me. How do you feel about the evening?
It's wonderful, and that was just the beginning.
Yeah, it's
looking forward to 3 more laureates.
Yeah. Okay, can you tell us a little bit about how were the laureates selected this year?
Well, we received nominations from all around the world. We had nominations from 89 countries this year. And we see in those nominations all the suffering, of course, in the world. We see the unspeakable injustice in how power and money and resources are distributed in the world. And we see the plunder of the environment, and we see the violence that people commit to each other. But we also see that many people are not prepared to take that anymore, and then that they get organized and that they develop alternatives. So there are just as many solutions as there are problems, and that is for our jury a really, really tough choice, you can imagine, and they try to find the 4 to highlight, the 4 in the year that are most important to highlight.
Do you
But
think,
one year's laureates are really just the tip of the iceberg of all the wonderful work.
do you think there is like a common thread with the laureates in their work?
Well, this getting organized is something that we really see in the nominations, and you see in all the laureates this year how they mobilize communities, because you can't affect change alone. The second thread, obviously, this year is climate change, right? We have the next 3 laureates all coming from countries that are aggressively expanding fossil fuels, and they see how citizens can fight back against that, and they prove how citizens can organize around that.
Do you have anything to say to people who have lost the hope that change is possible?
First of all, I would say I can understand that, because there is a lot of destruction going on, and a lot is also already too late. But then, I mean, if you take climate change as an example, it's worth to fight for every centigrade. It's worth to fight for every forest that we can preserve. So, you know, keep on going and find strength in organizing together with others.
Thank you so much, Ole. Give him some love, please. Okay, it's time to present the next laureate of the evening. Vladimir Slivyak is a Russian environmentalist who has used grassroots methods to fight for better environmental protection in Russia. Vladimir and his organization Eco Defense have stopped several projects related to the exploitation of fossil fuels, the use of nuclear energy, and the shipment of radioactive waste from abroad, showing that it is possible to challenge powerful governments.
One of Eco Defense's major campaigns has been against a proposed Kaliningrad nuclear power plant, the construction of which began in 2010. Vladimir Slivyak decided to focus on cutting international investment for the project, lobbying international banks to refrain from providing financing. After sustained public protests throughout Kaliningrad, European energy companies and banks withdrew their support for the plant. By 2014, the Russian government dropped nuclear power from its list of energy technologies in Kaliningrad. This campaign was an enormous success, demonstrating the effectiveness of sustained grassroots action. Slivyak has since sustained his grassroots pressure on the Russian government, launching campaigns against coal mining, oil drilling, and the import of nuclear waste from abroad. The government, while reluctantly and slowly, has begun moving towards more climate-friendly commitments.
Okay, it's time to get to know the next laureate of the evening. Frida Jusen is a female chief for the Wet'suwet'en people in Canada. Since 2010, she's become a leading advocate for the indigenous communities reconnecting with their land and reclaiming control. The past years, Frida has worked relentlessly to protect the territory of her people, whose land and sources of water and food for both humans and animals are under severe threat.
In 2010, Frida Jusen moved into a log cabin on her people's traditional territory. Since then, she has been the coordinator of the Unasuten camp that now includes a center for people seeking to reconnect with the land and heal from colonial trauma. The Unasuten camp has also emerged as the main gathering place for people opposing the construction of the coastal GasLink pipeline. Jusen's actions have set the pipeline project back by years. However, it still remains under construction and threatens the water and the land.
It's time to present the last laureates of the evening. What happens when a big construction project is planned in the community and the people who live there face the threat of having their environment and food supply destroyed? Legal Initiative for Forest and Environment, or LIFE, is an Indian organization that works with communities facing threats just like that. And it all started with lawyers Ritwik Dutta and Rahul Chaudhary.
In 2010, LIFE helped stall a large-scale bauxite mine project by Vedanta, a British company in the eastern state of Odisha. With help from LIFE, the Donglia Kond tribal people brought a case against the project because their land would have been devastated by the mine. India's Supreme Court said that the community needed to agree before the company could get a mining permit. The case is often called the most significant victory in the history of environmental lawsuits in India. In the end, the Donglia rejected the proposal for the mine in what became India's first environmental referendum. LIFE has continued to stand up against powerful interests, threatening the well-being of people and nature, securing better environmental protections for communities across India.
This evening reminds us all that democracy, human rights, and the well-being of people and the planet are not to be taken for granted. The future is in our hands. It feels reassuring that people all around the planet are fighting for a better future and a better world. My name is Gina Diravi. It has been an honor hosting you this evening. Thank you to the presenters, the laureates, and the audience, and all of you engaging at home. And now it's time for the last artist of the evening. His name is Kaspar Kamitz, and he's here with the song If You.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us